Good morning and welcome to the Public Service Commission of South Carolina. We are here today for a hearing in the application of Piedmont Natural Gas Company Incorporated for an adjustment of rates and charges, docket number 2022-89G. Let's start with a roll call of commissioners. Appearing virtually, we have Commissioner Irvin. Present in the hearing room, we have Commissioner Justin Williams, Vice Chair Powers, Commissioner Thomas, Commissioner Carol Lee Williams, Commissioner Caston, and Chair Belser. At this point, let's take appearances from the parties. Excuse me, just a second. Mr. Stark, do you have anything to add as to the reading of the docket?
Madam Chair, I would only note that there have been significant, no, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Let's take appearances from the party. Who's representing Piedmont Natural Gas Company?
Madam Chair Belser, my name is Jason Richardson. I'm here on behalf of Piedmont Natural Gas Company. Along with me, I have Jim Jeffries of McGuire Woods LLP and also Brian Heslin, who's Deputy General Counsel of Piedmont Natural Gas Company. Thank you.
And who's present for the South Carolina Department of Consumer Affairs?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Roger Hall, Deputy Consumer Advocate with the department. Also with me today is Connor Parker, Assistant Consumer Advocate.
And who's representing South Carolina Energy Users Committee?
Madam Chair, I'm Scott Elliott. I represent the energy users in this docket. Thank you.
And who's representing the Office of Regulatory Staff?
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Chris Schubert. I'm here on behalf of the Office of Regulatory Staff, and Ms. Nicole Gibbons will be joining me later in the hearing.
Thank you. Welcome to all parties, and thank you for your appearances this morning. I do think we have some preliminary matters, and we will start with Piedmont with regard to, I believe there's a motion for Pro Hoc Vici, is there not?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have a motion for Pro Hoc Vici for Brian Heslin that is pending before the Commission.
Thank you. We have received a letter from the South Carolina Supreme Court with regard to your application, and you will be admitted Pro Hoc Vici. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Who's going first? Preliminary matters.
I'm sorry. I think there is another preliminary matter, Madam Chair.
Mr. Jeffries, let me interrupt just a second. You are welcome to stay at the table and talk in that mic, or if you prefer a podium, lawyers are used to standing, so if you're more comfortable standing, please feel free to come to a podium. I'm the same way. Is that microphone on? There's a button at the base, I believe. At the beginning of the base. Mr. Stark, can you help him? I'm sorry, I didn't see that. That microphone may be different than the one I'm using, so. Mr. Jeffries. Okay. No, I was going to say we've got another one over there, but just we're fine. We're fine, Mr. Jeffries. You can. Okay. I apologize. We'll get that corrected shortly. There's a light.
Oh, yeah, that works, I believe. Well, I hope that's not indicative of a curse on the proceedings this morning, but I'm sorry for the delay. Madam Chair, I think there is one other significant preliminary matter to report, and this has been initially reported on Friday on a filing we made very late in the day, but the parties were late on Friday able to reach an agreement in principle on a settlement that will resolve most of the issues in the case. As the commission is aware, we have active participation in this case by the company, by ORS, by DCA, and by the SCEUC. The settlement that in principle that's been reached, all parties are parties to the settlement. However, the DCA has reserved its right to litigate ROE and capital structure, but the settlement otherwise resolves all other issues in the case. We have been engaged in drafting over the weekend. I think we're on our fourth or fifth draft of the settlement stipulation, and at least from the company's perspective, we're very close. We have a couple of details to work out with the other parties, but the exhibits to the stipulation are done. We have settlement testimony that is 98% done along with settlement exhibits, but I think the parties need probably a couple of more hours to finalize the settlement and file it with the commission. We had asked on Friday that that the evidentiary portion of the testimonial portion of the hearing be delayed one day in order to allow both us to finish the settlement in case we didn't have it done over by Monday morning, which we're not quite there yet, but also to give the commission a little time at least to try to review the testimony and decide testimony and the stipulation, decide how we wanted to proceed, because as is normal in these stipulations, the parties have waived cross-examination and except for ROE and capital structure witnesses, and have stipulated the admission of pre-filed testimony into the record, which would substantially streamline. I think that would take about 11 out of 17 witnesses out of play from the party's perspective. We all understand that the commission may have questions for any of the witnesses, and we'll certainly make our witnesses available. And then, as the chair, I think, also understands, is that we do have some witnesses, and including some of the ones that would testify on ROE and capital structure, that do have some constraints and likely need to be heard tomorrow, Wednesday morning at the latest. I believe Mr. Rothschild is available till about midday Wednesday. Is that right? All day Wednesday. Okay. But I know Mr. Coyne and I believe Mr. Baudino are also time constrained. So we would look at liking to have those witnesses heard tomorrow if our motion is granted.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffries. Do any other parties want to comment at this point?
Just very briefly, Madam Chair, everything Mr. Jeffries says is correct. The department has agreed to all the issues in the proposed stipulation, which we hope to finalize early this afternoon at the latest, with the exception of ROE and capital structure. Our witness is available now through Wednesday. We hope, with the pushing it back, we still have plenty of time to hear from all the witnesses for the commission to ask those witnesses any questions they have as well. But as Mr. Jeffries said, yeah, we are supportive of the agreement, just need a little bit more time to finalize it.
And you're supportive of starting the testimony on Tuesday morning?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Let me just make sure, Mr. Elliott, on behalf of South Carolina Energy Users, are you in agreement with starting the testimony on Tuesday morning?
I am, Madam Chair, and just for the record, I'm content with the terms of the settlement document, so I'm ready to go.
And I believe Mr. O'Donnell had a scheduling issue. He needs to be heard tomorrow.
Yes,
Is that
ma'am. Correct? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. I just drew a blank. Huber, I'm sorry. Is ORS in agreement with starting the testimony tomorrow?
Yes, Madam Chair. The only thing I'll add, the parties have exchanged several drafts of the stipulation, and I believe we're very close to agreeing on the language. To be honest, it may be later today before we have the final document signed by everybody and filed, certainly by close of business. But we're working diligently to get that done. I will just note, as far as Mr. Baldino, he is available tomorrow. He's also available until 11 o'clock on Wednesday.
But he is available Thursday if that were the case, is it not? Is that right?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. I'm just trying to think ahead. I don't know that we'll get to Thursday, but I just wanted to make sure about availability. And let me ask the parties, all the other witnesses whose testimony will be stipulated in, will they present their testimony live and it just goes in, and then if the commissioners have questions, we could ask at that time? Or are y'all just planning to try to dump it in the record and we identify where we have questions?
From Piedmont's perspective, we're happy to do it either way, Madam Chair. We do have two witnesses that intend to testify virtually, Mr. Watson.
Understood.
And blank.
Well, when I say live, I'm talking about either in person or virtually,
Right.
but
yes.
they would be seen. Okay.
But we're prepared to provide all our witnesses to the commission.
And I believe that there are two witnesses where parties have crossed for two of your witnesses as well as the ROE witness. Is that correct?
I think possibly three. Did you have Mr. Coyne, Mr. Bauer, and Ms. Powers?
Okay, so that's the ROE plus two others.
ROE and cap structure for
Right,
all
okay.
three. Yes,
I tend to use that ROE term very broadly. Okay. Anything else from the parties on that? Mr. Huber?
Madam Chair, I'll just ask from ORS's perspective. I think we had envisioned, as far as the witnesses stipulated in, if the commission will let us know which witnesses they would like to hear from questions for. We would certainly have them here and live, but if the commission would like each witness to take the stand, we certainly will. Whichever preference the commission has, we'll certainly follow that.
I'll tell you what, why don't I will confer with my fellow commissioners and our staff council will email the parties later today. Will that work?
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Commissioners, any questions of the council at this point? Commissioner C. Williams?
Madam Chair, if I heard correctly, there's the potential that we would not receive the stipulation until the end of the afternoon. So how will we make a determination about the witnesses that we might want to be able to cross-examine and whether to stipulate or not? I mean, we would have the opportunity to review.
Very good point. We may need to notify you of that in the morning or tomorrow once we can look at it. And it may be later tomorrow, but we'll look at that as well.
Madam Chair, I was just going to comment that I think we're all in agreement on the witnesses that we're willing to stipulate, so I believe we could provide that. I understand you won't have the entire agreement, but we could at least provide the list of witnesses that we did not intend, or that we intend to stipulate.
I think the commissioners may want to see what the terms of the stipulation are to determine whether or not we may have questions for witnesses other than the ROE cap structure witnesses.
Certainly, I understand.
I think that's the issue. Let me just tell you why I needed to open the hearing today. This hearing is publicly noticed to begin at 10 a.m. this morning. We don't know if anybody is watching virtually or not, but we needed to stay with the notice time to at least open the hearing rather than have somebody tune in and there just be nothing on there. So, commissioners, is there anything else from the commission before I recess this hearing? Vice Chair Powers?
Thank you. Madam Vice Chair, I anticipate there may be some questions about executive salaries, depending on who the witness may be or who that witness would be available. And I just thought maybe since there's such a big change in what's being presented that just kind of put that out there that there may be some questions about that.
Okay.
We're certainly happy to have our witnesses on that topic available, Madam Chair.
Okay, and there may be others. Once we see the terms of the stipulation, we will notify the parties as soon as we can tomorrow during the proceeding. It'll be on the record. So, anything else?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Caston?
I want to make sure I understood.
there's also, there were, I think, some Piedmont witnesses and others that, as I understand it, are limited up until like 11 o'clock on Wednesday. Maybe that was ORS. But there were witnesses that were limited. It seems like tomorrow, was it clear if they would be available Thursday if it extended till Thursday? I wasn't sure I heard that part.
Mr. Jeffries, do you want to address that?
One of Piedmont's witnesses, Mr. Coyne, who we would put up first, tomorrow is not available beginning on Wednesday. He's got a long planned family wedding trip overseas that he's in some jeopardy, I'm told, with his wife if he misses that. So if we would do everything we could to have him heard tomorrow, if that's consistent with the schedule that the commission's comfortable with.
Understand. Thank
Well,
you.
as I understood, the parties have reached agreement that of which witnesses they will put up on ROE and capital structure, and the parties feel comfortable with their questions. The unknown is what questions the commissioners may have. And I believe it was Mr. Baldino that is unavailable Wednesday afternoon, but Mr. Huber's just indicated that if we don't get to him tomorrow or Wednesday morning, that he would be available on Thursday. Is that correct?
That's correct, Madam Chair.
And those are the only witnesses that we are concerned about availability. Is that correct?
Yes, I think for DCA's witness, Mr. Rothschild, his travel plans include Thursday morning, but I believe worst case scenario, he would be available. He may just wind up appearing virtually on Thursday if needed.
And I just will ask the parties to make sure that any witnesses with availability issues, that we get through them first, if we can. I understand that could cause a difference in how you would normally put your case up, but let's get through the witnesses with availability issues as quickly as possible. Get them up first. I want everybody to have their time to ask questions, and the commissioners to ask their questions, but we need to address those issues, those witnesses first.
And I think all the parties are in agreement with that, Madam Chair.
Commissioners, anything further?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Kelly Williams?
thank you. I think I heard Mr. Huber or perhaps someone else offer some preliminary information that is final, that could be submitted before the stipulation regarding witnesses. Would that be valuable to have in advance to help determine who we wish to ask questions of beyond that list?
From the company's perspective, Madam Chair, we intend to file 3 sets of supporting testimony. 2 of those are accounting related and 1 is ROE related. And they are very close to being done. And we could, I think, assuming that the commission's comfortable with it and the other parties are comfortable with it, I think we could file those maybe more quickly than the stipulation. I'm a little hesitant to offer that because, as soon as you agree to do something like that, something changes and you got a problem.
Let me inquire of the parties. Can you give us a witness list? Just a list of the witnesses who need to testify live, who will be presenting settlement testimony, and then the list of witnesses of who y'all have agreed to stipulate in. And if you can is that asking too much outside of what y'all need to do for finalizing the settlement agreement and the witness testimony?
No, we can provide that, Madam Chair.
That may be of assistance. And if you don't mind noting on that, I think we can probably tell from what we've already got who would be in person and who would be virtual, so it's all in one place. Commissioners, anything else? Anything else from the parties? Okay, with that, I give you my thanks for appearing here this morning and let's seeing where we are. I think we've got a roadmap of how we will proceed. If we, I think starting on the second and third days is at 10 is a little late. So I would propose 9:30. Does that work with everyone's schedule? And if we have to go past 5 tomorrow, I don't plan on going past 6, but we may go a little bit later to accommodate schedules as needed. Or if we need to go later, we may have to. We'll just see how we go. But thank you for being here and providing this information. We will recess the hearing until 9:30 tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.